used to doing like the pre-motivation early in the morning. You're alive, thank you. We'll go through that today a little bit, And then if you can't do the prostrations, you can do 3 prostrations, right? You can develop bodhicitta, it's a couple of seconds. This is not a huge prayer. This is not a huge meditation. Just to have an intention that whatever I do today, I will be kind to others. I will be kind to myself. Start there. And then you have daily practice, right? In your daily practice, you don't have a place right now, but you can carry a small picture. You put it in a clean place. Think in your mind that you've cleansed the place, you've cleansed your mind. Make the offerings. You can say quickly in either Tibetan or you can say it in English. But in Tibetan, they say, you'll hear them saying, argham, padyam, pushpe, dhupe. All that means is drinking water, washing your feet. Pushpe means flower offering. Offer these beautiful things in your mind. You're offering it. And you're offering to your Buddha mind. You can do that. At least you're practicing. And then time permitting. Now, Lamrim meditation, going into precious human rebirth and all that, that is all time permitting. If you don't have time, hopefully you find some time to do it. But remember, in between session is as important as sitting on a cushion. So once you develop this positive mindset, why not practice it with daily activities you do? You take care of your children. You make breakfast for them. You drop them off. You pick them up. You have to go shopping. Bring in those Lamrim glasses and take one practice that you want to do for a while and see if you can go through that during that practice and see you evoke some of those emotions. And when you do find time, maybe you want to do a little reading, take the Liberation in the Palm of Your Hand or the Lamrim book and read about it a little bit. That's a good start. When you have time, you do it. But to say, I can't do it, I don't know if there's a magic pill. You have to practice to be able to do something to transform your mind. And things will come in your way many times, especially when you're trying even harder. But it's amazing that how you will find a little bit of time every day just to do the practice you need. And I'll tell you, even in the evening, I'll just jump ahead. For example, your Vajrasattva practice. So people will say, well, I don't know the 100-syllable mantra. I have to memorize it. Then I don't remember what to look at, how to visualize it. Don't make it so complex. They give you so many options. You want to read through the book as if you're reading just for reading it through. Kind of visualize it. Second time, you don't have time. You are laying in the bed. Say, Om Vajrasattva 21 times. 3 words you have to memorize. Om Vajrasattva. But once you develop a little bit of connection of what you're doing, you will automatically start to fall into, let me understand what I'm saying. How about let me learn a few more words? And then how do I generate regret? How do I generate reliance? How do I resolve this? Then you will say, today I did so many good things, but this one thing I really shouldn't have done. Well, then you're generating regret. Then you rely on Vajrasattva, say, please, I regret that I did this. I will try not to do it. And then you start to cleanse yourself. So you can do little things like that. It doesn't have to be this special time you take to do. If you can, it is a wonderful thing to do. You want to take time and dedicate time and do it. But if you don't have time, you can spread it throughout the day, depending on your work hours and your responsibility. But it's wonderful if everybody could just sit down and do it a couple of hours in the morning. We all cannot do it. But they give you shortcuts, and we'll go through some of those shortcuts today. Okay.
My main thought is making sure I don't skip it just because I'm short on time. Knowing that there's a short, like that.
Well, I tell you what, can you, at least when you're doing your purification of your feet speech, you can do that quickly. Just even in the mind. If you if you know the mantras, if you don't know in the beginning, you may want to practice it. Sambhara, Sambhara, Vimana, Saramajam, like that. You want to practice it, just visualize the fact that everything you do from now on is going to multiply. So my mind, be prepared to do these beautiful things. Then you cleanse your speech a little bit, at least if nothing else, and you don't go through all the vowels and the consonants. You can still look at Om on your tongue, rise as a deity, and say, my body and my speech is pure, so whatever I say today will have positive effect. So there are little things you can do. That's your preliminary practice. You can offer some flowers, food, and the 7 things. 7-limb prayer takes not even a minute to say through it, right? And you can quickly go to that. I present. I offer all things actual and imagine. You can present clouds of all things actual and imagine. First you prostrate, of course. Then you offer things. Then you confess, right? Then you say, I rejoice in the merits of all other beings, And then you say, please, you ask your teachers to stay, and you dedicate. 7 limbs, done. Right? 4 immeasurables, 4 lines. Say that, but you evoke that mind, that may all beings be happy, have happiness, and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. And the last one, of course, third one is again happiness, and the last one is equanimity. Right? So you want just say those 4 lines and just think about it for a second. Done. So you can do that way. Now you can go elaborate into meditation of bodhicitta, and you can go into 7-limb prayers and really one thing at a time and visualize it. Then do a lamrim prayer, then do guru devotion, then read a book. You can do so many things like that. But you can at least have some sort of a discipline to do some of the practice as far as it's making an effect on you. As far as you're allowing your mind to relax and say, I am doing this to benefit my mind so I can be helpful to others. I don't know what else to tell you. It's a tough thing to do sometimes. Any other questions? Okay. So I did mention to you that you will today, we're going to get you familiarized with some of the prayers. So as soon as I'm going through this, we'll start to talk about different things. So let me just get to the beginning of the class, and then we'll take it from there. Okay. So, we want to wonder how all of these things have come together. So just to start talking we're going to go through some one step at a time. In the morning, so first of all, think about the practice starts at the night with the sleeping yoga. You're putting your head down in the lap of your teacher or Shakyamuni Buddha, right? So how wonderful that is. And then we'll talk a little bit more about that, what you should be thinking. But right now we've done that. You get up in the morning, his presence is right there because you've been sleeping in his lap. So taking that positive energy, develop a pre-motivation for the entire day of how lucky I am. I'm alive today. I have met Buddha Dharma. I have a virtuous friend, teacher, who will guide me. And thank you. Simple words that you can personalize and develop bodhicitta. Doesn't take too long. Then if you have time, you do your confession Buddha practice. You want to do 3 prostrations and then get into the 35 confession Buddha if you have time. If not, at least understand what they are and do 3 prostrations. Doesn't hurt. Just do it in your mind. If you can read through it and not prostrate, that's fine too. But you can at least start that way. Then obviously once you do that, you want to start your preparatory practices like cleaning the place, arranging the altar, offerings, flowers, and some nice things you want to offer. Do your 3 prostrations. You sit down on your meditation cushion. You invoke Shakyamuni Buddha or your merit field and your teachers, so they in your mind, you are visualizing them right in front of you, making that connection with them. You want to do your refuge. And once you set up your refuge, then you want to do your 7-limb prayers and do mandala offerings for immeasurables. And you will see that it's not a memory. We'll go through this and you'll see every practice has these things in it. If you open up any of these practices, if you were to open this book or open the prayer book, which we'll today go through, and I'll show you, exactly goes through this. Okay? And they have long forms and short forms. So it allows you a little bit of flexibility. Okay? And then, of course, if you have time permitting, you do your lamrim meditation, and then you put those glasses on and go throughout the day, practicing your whatever you're learning or you're training on, and then start using those bodhicitta phrases in different places to kind of get your mind again to evoke some of those realizations and things you're working on. And then and think about it when you drive a car, how our mind works sometimes. You're in a rush trying to get to work if you are going to work. What happens, You lose your mind so quickly, don't we? It's a great time to practice. Saying, oh, it's coming up, let it go. It's not going to change whatever the outcome is. It's not going to make any difference. Why make it hard for anybody and myself? Take it easy. Just even little thoughts like that. Then you have to think about going to work. And this is when you can transform your mind and think deep about karma. Your life experiences. Not everything at work is pleasant. Right? Not everything at work is pleasant. Some things go smooth. Some days you can't stand it. People yelling at each other or things not getting done. Think about karma deeply and see how you can change that mindset. So, think that your karma is there for you to face some of these things. But instead of acting instinctively, you can practice now and saying, what can I do? Why is it happening to me? Think about it. You think about why this is happening to me. And you're saying, okay, what can I do now so it doesn't happen again or next time? So it gives you that little moment of practice. It only happens when you've been doing some of your daily practices. Your mind will reach there. You start to think, all day long I've been feeling good. I've taken refuge. I just can't blurt this out. I need to be careful. Even that thought is very powerful. Okay? And again, remember, nobody's saying that you have to be a doormat. Let everybody walk over you. It's how you think. You can walk away. You can be firm, but without losing temperament. Right? So don't get angry. So those are the things you can learn. So examine all day. So work. And it says that when you're sitting on the cushion, you're really empowering your off the cushion life, work life. And when you're working, you're really empowering what you do and think about when you're on the cushion. So it kind of empowers each other. Okay, so it becomes a practice during the day. And then we talk about yoga of eating. You say Om Ahum, or you can offer cloud mantra. If you don't know the cloud mantra, I suggest you take a look at it, page 25 of this book, and we're going to go through some of these things. And you're offering to your teachers, you're offering to Buddha, and think of, this Buddha is becoming, the light is coming through, your food is becoming nectar, and then you're partaking this nectar, feeding your mind of enlightened mind. That's the way to take sustenance. You're still connecting with the higher self, even while eating. It's a wonderful practice. So Om Ahum, body, speech, and mind. So offer your food when you eat and think of how it is going in your system and how the sustenance means what it means to you and how these teachers are pleased, Buddha is pleased, they're giving you blessing, the food becomes nectar, the nectar is going in you and it's enlightening your mind. So this is a small little practice. 3 words, Om Ahum. And immediately see your teacher sitting there giving you blessings. See Buddha sitting there giving you blessings. And just take it in. Remember, it's your mind is blessing you. Okay? And then throughout the day, just make sure you watch these little virtuous actions that you do all day too. Not only negative things. You want to focus on good things you do. And emphasize those things in your mind a little bit. Right? And then remember, at the end of the day, you want to dedicate. Yes, sir.
How were you thinking in the daily practice and the lamb dream? Let's see, we have the liberation in the palm of your hand. So if we are going to go through the whole thing, no? And every day we are going to read something with the idea to finish the book, no?
No. Your long-term goal is to finish the book. The idea is not to finish the book is the goal right away. You want to take one subject at a time. And they say sometimes it may take a week, it may take 2 weeks, it may take 3 weeks. You want to really understand that subject till it has a visceral emotion. It does something to you. It means something to you. And we'll go through it today. You need to, and I'm going to say it right now, matter of fact, you need to check every one of those things like traditionally they check out gold. Buddha very clearly states that, don't take just my words as truth. Check it out like you would check out gold in the old days. You burn it, you cut it, right? And you rub it, and you find out whether it's gold. Your experience is like burning it. Your analysis is like cutting it. And then you see within that book, are there any contradictions? One says offering is wonderful, the other one says offering is terrible. No, you need to make sure that what you're seeing and you're experiencing makes sense. When you have that experience, it becomes conviction. Now you move on to the next subject matter. And then later on, you'll find as you reach certain subjects, they're all interwoven. Each one has a little bit of karma, a little bit of emptiness, a little bit of precious human rebirth. They all have a little interwoven, but you need to become familiar one thing at a time. And that's why we suggested that before you go into deep reading, it's a great reference book to read and understand, but go and take a look at a Lamrim meditation book and just glance over all the different subject matters. So you kind of know. And then you take one subject at a time, and then you look into it. You may even have questions. You may not understand. They'll use words like, for the 3 great purposes of the 10 times in the 3 directions. And you wonder, oh, I lost it. So then you learn more about it. Oh, 3 times, past, future, and present. In the 10 directions, Buddha is everywhere. His aspect is everywhere in every energy. So north, south, east, west, northeast, north, south, up and down, 10 directions. So when you start to see that, all of a sudden you can have a visual now. It's sitting there, is emanating light everywhere, all 3 times. Time means nothing in terms of being enlightenment. And then you have this visualization. Then you read how it affects your life and what you're doing about it. And now you've gotten a little bit of aspect of that subject matter. Then you move on. The goal eventually is, yes, you're going to go through the Lamrim because it's going to take you through the entire training, teaching that is supposed to be your life, way of life.
Yeah, because let's see, you look, for example, the liberation of the palm of your hand, the book is divided in days, no? It's day 1. If you try to read the day 1, perhaps you stay the whole week reading, no? But it's day 1, then day 2, day 3. So the thing that I'm saying is we need to go through the days. Perhaps take a year, no, or years to go to every day, no? But this idea that you have day 1, day 2, day 3, there is a kind of meaning in terms of...
Sure. So remember, this is a commentary, okay? When Lama Tsongkhapa is explaining in detail about what Atisha really wrote in Lamrim. These are commentaries. So these are people who are monks and at the time are in retreat all day long. They're working on something. For us, if you can just capture the meaning, the essence of what they're trying to say, it doesn't matter how long it takes. You need to determine that. And when Geshe-la was teaching Lamrim, it took us, over a year, almost a year and a half? And still, I don't think so he completed the entire thing. So it depends on how you can capture it, how detailed you want to get into it. So it doesn't necessarily mean our day 1, you got to finish this chapter. Day 2, finish this chapter. Does it go inside your mind is more important. Right? And it tells you that. Just understand the quality over quantity. I mean, I can read through quite a bit of it in one day, but if only a few things go in, I may have to read it again. Some people like it. They go through it, then they start again, then they start to formulate. Different people have different ways of handling it. Right? Okay? So let's talk about sleeping yoga a little bit. Sleeping, dreaming, and waking up. And all I'm going to say is that when you're putting your head down in the lap of the Buddha, maybe on the right-hand side, just like Buddha, say the mantra, Om Mune Mune Maha Mune Soha. And I just told you briefly last time, some of this mantra means all 3 scopes. Tayatha means the ones that the way it is said. First Mune is like the lower scope. Second Mune is the second scope. Maha Mune is the third scope. Soha, so be it. So is enlightened being. So it's a great way to think about it sometimes. But you say that mantra and then set a strong intention that you continue your practice in sleep. What are you practicing here? Very similar to a dying process. When your body is going through this death process, intermediate stage, and then taking birth, it is no different than you putting your head in the lap of Buddha, making a great intention to practice dharma. So you will have dreams of some dharma subject matter, and you're creating a habit. in your mind a training that you know that when you have a habit of a certain thing, it happens all day long. How about sometimes you pick up a song in the morning, stays all day long in your head, doesn't it? Because you like it. Same way, if you develop this real need and an excitement to learn this and take it in, and you set a strong intention that I really want to be enlightened, and I want to make sure that when I'm passing through, that my teachers and my mind, I'm guided in the right place. You want to have that feeling. So when you practice this, you're telling your brain to do that. And when you set a nice intention and do these mantras and then slowly go to sleep, guess what? You may eventually lead into a state of a dreamland where you are continuing to practice. You may be reading Lamrim, some chapter, some words will come through. Okay? And then it is no different. So when your mind is habituated and when you are in a dire strait or feeling a little constrained when you're passing or not, where do you think your mind is going to go? It's going to go to where its habit is. What a great gift that is. Think about some of that fear going away. And if it is true that you're going to have to take a birth and your mind is already in the practice, the tendency will be where the teachings are available. Or continuous growth, or even in an enlightened state. So think in those ways. Okay? So wonderful practice. So train mind again and again, and it says very easily, if your mind is trained in this way, it is much more likely to happen when you fall deeper in deeper consciousness of the death process. If you've trained the habit of the mind, it will revert to the state in which the most habituated mind go to. It's very easily said that. Okay? Any questions? So in the morning practice session, again, if you look at it, they talk about preliminary motivation, which we already talked about, strong bodhicitta, I'm lucky to be alive, and that I haven't died. And so we've already talked about that. We do the prostration, purification of place, blessing and offering, recite. So let's take a look at it. I want you to take the golden book that is behind your chair. And let's go to page 169. What time is it? 8:02. Yes. Okay. So it says daily meditation practice, right? Everybody see that? Okay, hold that page and now go to the front of the page as soon as about page, I think is 7, 8, 9. Hold on for a second. Okay, page 15. Just keep that page open in your mind with your hand and go to page 15. It's the first page actually. Morning activities. So you woke up, you are still energized because you are in the presence of Buddha that you slept in his lap. You've done bodhicitta, you may have done your confession, 3 prostrations, and then you go about doing your activities, right? You have to brush your teeth or whatever you have to do. But when you're doing, go around saying, kind of walk through this a little bit. You mentally start, it says this mantra increases the merit of the day 100,000 times. Why not make that bank balance increase, just learn it a little bit. And you see, after a couple of days, you start to say these things. In the beginning, it's like, what does it say? Don't worry, just kind of start. And know that you are just multiplying your merit for the day. That itself is a positive thought. Okay? Then you bless your rosary or mala. You have it in your hand, you can rub it if you have it. And then you can blow on it after you say, Om Ruchi Ramani Pravartaya Hum, Om Ruchi Ramani Pravartaya Hum, Om Ruchi Ramani Pravartaya Hum. It takes less than a minute, a couple of seconds. Okay? Then you bless your feet and you think about all these animals, any kind of bugs that come under your feet, may they be blessed. That you don't intentionally are killing them, but as you go about your day, put on your boots, shoes, some of them may come under, may they be released to a higher birth. And you can do that mantra. Then it talks about blessing speech. And if you don't know anything, if you just read what it's saying here, a little bit of writing that I arise as a deity on my tongue, syllable ah. And remember, om, ah, hum. Ah is speech. Om is your body, speech, and mind. So ah is the symbol or syllable for speech. And it talks about that into a moon disk on the top. It tells you what to do. Okay? Even if you don't read everything, visualize that you're blessing your speech. Okay? If you want to go into deep of it, they give you some of this vowels and consonants to say.
Can you recite the Ali vowels? I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
I'm using the right.
Yes, so if you say ah, e, oo, ri, li, ai, o, aha, soha. If you want to do consonants, you kind of get into a rhythm. Ka, ga, na, cha, ja, na, ta, da, na, pa, ba, ma, ya, ra, la, va. Like you can just kind of go through it. Once you get that rhythm going, it starts to come. Okay? And then you say Om Mani Padme Hum. And you do a little request to Lama to be present during the day. Now you can go straight to your daily meditation practice. And remember, these things, once you get to know them, just think it took me 5 minutes to just say it. You may read it takes a little longer maybe, but you get used to it, you can do this. It starts to really happen like a habit. But you just think of it, your body is being cleansed, your speech is being cleansed, your heart is being cleansed, your feet are being cleansed, and you want to use them to benefit others. How wonderful that thought is. And once that is done, you set up, so let's go through this. You're setting it up, we talk about setting it up. You start with the prostrations. See, it talks about purifying your place. Everything that we've been saying right now as a list, what to do, you purify the place. Okay, talks about blessing the offerings. They also tell you, Lama Zopa Rinpoche says, say the extensive power of truth. Talk about the three sublime jewels. It even has a visualization. You can cut this short. It doesn't have to be this elaborate. You can find, there are different places you can cut some of the visualizations short. Then look, it has refuge meditation after that. Again, if you don't want to do the meditation, you can just basically say, I go to refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By virtue of my merits, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. At least say that. Right? Sangye Sodang Choki Choglam La, right? So you can do that. And here it is again, refuge prayer is also Namo Guru Bhyaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Say it 3 times. So know in your mind you're taking refuge. If you want to get into it, if you have time, you can read through this. Okay, then there's a bodhicitta meditation if you want to get into it. But if not, at least the 4 immeasurables are there. And 4 immeasurables are just like bodhicitta. You're wishing for people's happiness for all. And for your mind to have equanimity. Okay, then starts the 7-limb prayer. Exactly as I have been talking about all the things you need to do. Do your morning preliminary motivation, then your 6 preparatory practices. Think about cleaning the place and all that. Do your, go ahead. 178. Okay, so there's the 7-limb prayers. Look at it very carefully. First you prostrate, then you do offerings, then you confess, then you rejoice. Please stay until the samsara ends. You're asking teachers and Buddha to stay and continue to teach. And in the last thing, I dedicate all my virtues and myself to the great enlightenment. Then there's a mandala offering. And there's a short mandala offering. You don't have time to read through this? Look at on page 180. Simple 4 lines. Do a real nice, sincere mandala offering. Prayer for the 3 great purposes is recommended by Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And all 3 things are in there. According to the 3 purposes, seize immediately all wrong conceptions, to actualize immediately all correct realizations, and then pacify immediately all outer and inner obstacles. Idam Guru Ratnam Mandalam Karayami. So you are then basically offering up all your mandala offering. Then you make request, right? That's the last thing we do, heartfelt request. Well, here it is. Then it takes you through graded path of enlightenment. So here's your Lamrim practice. and then Buddha descends on your crown, absorptions, and then there are dedications. And we didn't tell you, but there are some extensive dedication, like the King of Prayer is 10 pages. But then they have said that if there are only 2 verses, if you can do those 2 verses, it is as good as doing all 10 pages, and it is the most powerful dedication you can do. And if you look at page 186, if you look at just as the brave Manjushri and Samanta Bhadra too, you see that 3rd paragraph? That and the one below are the 2 paragraphs from the King of Prayers. That's your dedication. And you're done. And now, if you have time, do meditations. If you want to read a book, you want to do anything you want to do, at least you've covered some quick things. And you can write this down or copy and paste it in such a way that you can go through short version or long version as you wish. And that way, it doesn't take that long to do this. And once you do this, and then you make heartfelt request, and you kind of visualize some of the things you're saying, you will be amazed how your mind starts to transform and understand some of these things. Okay, and for those people who have this book, it's very inexpensive book, has all of those things in here. Exactly what I just showed you, but it's in a separate book. But I wanted you to see that all of these things are extensive dedications in the back. There's a lot of things in this book. Just look at the context and look at the index. You'll be amazing. Everything is there. It's just that you have to flip back and forth, but sometimes it just goes through very nicely. And they do that because they want to give you options. How deep you want to go, how hurry you are in, you can do some things, but at least it has everything in it. Okay? Any questions? Little clear in your mind? So whenever we are talking about morning motivation, doing your prostration, doing your 6 preparatory, mean cleaning the place up, offering and all that, then do your 4 immeasurable, 7 limb prayers, offer the mandala, do a little bodhicitta practice. There's a little guru devotion in there, and eventually absorb and become Buddha. And you become a light being that you awaken. There's a shaft of light going out to everybody. Everything is assimilated, comes back to the heart, and Buddha dissolves in you. And you will notice you don't see yourself as I. For a moment, you become just an enlightened being for a moment. It's an amazing feeling. Okay? So I want to keep that. Last thing before we do meditation, I know we did say last time, may go a little over because it's our last class. So the meditation I have today, the meditation itself is not long, but we're going to do extensive dedication that Lama Zopa Rinpoche does. So I will want to do that. But before we do that, one other piece that I wanted to talk about is doubt. You say you have a doubt right now that this is all good and dandy, but I really still don't feel that it really makes sense. Why am I doing all this stuff? They say doubt is one of the best thing you can do for your mind. Should have doubt. And they have an example. Gyaltsang Je was a Lama. That is to think Lama Tsongkhapa doesn't cut it, can't teach. So he would go with the intent to argue with him, to debate with him. And he was a big debater, won many debates, so he was very strong. So he wouldn't even take his little yellow hat out and sit in the same level as Lama Tsongkhapa. So he tried, but Lama Tsongkhapa kept on teaching. And more he heard, he came to a very quick realization who Lama Tsongkhapa really was and how much knowledge he had. He took his hat off, he bowed down and prostrated. Okay? And he became the lineage holder of Lama Tsongkhapa's teachings. So again, this is to give you an idea. It's okay to doubt. Remember, like the gold, check it out. If you have an experience, there are 4 levels of faith. Okay? First one is inspiration. You look at Dalai Lama, Geshe-la, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and you say, wow, that's great. Amazing. Wow, how nice. You feel inspired. Then you have an aspiration. Can I be like that? So that's a great aspiration. Then you start to engage. Look at Gary. Came in the first day, started talking, started to help, and is now getting involved. You see how that's really progress. Your mind wants to do. It wants to grow. It wants to help. You get engaged. Right? And then eventually you do those activities. And that's how your faith, you develop conviction. Conviction comes from, your true conviction comes from, you fully understanding the subject. You need to dice it a little bit. You need to put a doubt. And I suggest to you that go through it. Also develop friendships. Learn, ask each other. Sometimes they tell you, talk to the person like you're talking about the subject. When you have to say it, you have to know it. And you'll find out where some things don't really still settle in your head. You'll find out your weak points. Then ask Geshe-la. He always says, if you have any questions, bring it to me. But you must check it out and make it your own experience. Just don't take the word and say, they said it, so I'm doing it. Feel it. Make it your own journey. And once you have that conviction in you, you will develop strong devotion. And once you have that, nobody can shake it. And I will tell you again, whenever you develop that kind of conviction, you be aware that you're going to get interruptions. But don't throw the whole bag away because of one or two interruptions in your life. That is when you know you have conviction. When you know it is gold and you look at the sandbox, you know there's sand around it, but you can identify that gold. You know what gold looks like. Okay? So that was my main thing. And last thing before we go into meditation is also try to go on a retreat sometimes. It's not necessarily you go on this week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Great if you can do it. Those who are retired and have some money and can do it, travel, wonderful. However, you can go to a 2-day retreat, a long weekend. Some people go for a walk. Some people go for one afternoon. Find a place where there is no billboards, no telephones, no television, nothing that attracts you, because what happens is, sometimes we get lazy. Right? And laziness can be, I think, 3 forms of laziness. One that I remember is just a pure dullness of mind. You're just dull. I don't feel like doing it. I just want to lay around. The second one is when you do a lot of things, but everything that's not the practice. You'll go clean the house. You'll pick up this. You'll start look at the map. Like, I'll get to it. You doing everything around it, but that. That's also a form of laziness. Okay, so kind of understand that how our mind works and accept it. It's nothing wrong. Saying, we all do it. I do it. We all do it. But recognizing it, that's one of my problems, I got to work around it. So how do I get myself back to this? And sometimes you just need a break. Get away from it, leave it, but know what you have experienced is solid. And then pick it up slowly. Make it part. And you see, as you make it lighter and you filter it, it doesn't become this huge thing you have to carry around your head. Make it part of your life. Let it settle nicely. And then more you enjoy, you will get excited. You'll see at one point, you wouldn't want to give up. There are 2 types of people who take small chunks, and some people, once they start, they'll go on and on and on. They want to get into it. Same thing with concentration practice, guru devotion, everything you do. Look at it from a perspective and don't get so much in your mind that you lose the real essence of it. Put it in perspective and you'll see that it will start to blossom in you. Okay? Any questions on that? So retreat doesn't mean you have to go for 2 weeks away. If you can, great. But if you can take time off for yourself and just for a day, take a little break. Let the mind go. And kind of think about it. And you'll see how things still flutter around, how habits are still there, how things go away, and how many things you've done well. Don't underestimate your credits too. There are many good things we do. That's why you are here. You met Buddha Dharma, right? So there's some very good things you've done. So think in those terms. So any questions on what does that daily practice looks like? People understand how you go to sleep. When you wake up, prostrations, setting up the place, doing all the prayers we talked about, right? Prostrations, your 7 limb prayers, 4 immeasurables, mandala offering, making request. Then putting your glasses on, going to work. Practice continues. Pick a subject in your mind and see it from a different glasses. You already have Buddha's energy in you, so you cleanse yourself, protect yourself during the day. Things will come. You may lose a little bit of this, little bit of that, but kind of manage that as best you can. You come home. It's very difficult to do evening practice. as Lama Zopa Rinpoche says, do another 30. It's very difficult when you come home 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock tired. At least do 3 prostrations. And sometimes just doing 3, we'll say, oh, this is not so bad. It actually is kind of fun. You yourself may want to do more, but do it at your pace. Do a nice Vajrasattva practice. Think about your teachers. Little Guru devotion in your mind. Put your head in the lap of the Buddha. Go past into your dreamland. Continue your practice over there. Next day wake up. So it never goes away. If you think Dharma was a part-time thing, you're in a different world. It's an everyday thing, but it is transforming your mind. Only this is the way you're going to change years and years of layers of all the things that you've collected. And this is how you transform it. And then you can visualize yourself going to a better, pure land. Okay? So with that, we're going to do a little meditation. So give me 1 second. Went through a lot of things again today, but I was hoping that you have some sense of, if you're sleeping, waking up all day long, eating, showering, walking, working all the time, you can actually do some practice. So this meditation, concluding meditation, is, remember when we did motivation, we kind of said Shakyamuni Buddha just to be there, just stay there. So we're going to bring him back again. And however, after we do some mantras, we're going to visualize him. We're going to see the light coming into us. It will absorb into us. We will arise as a enlightened being. And then this will leave a nice imprint before we end the class. But be prepared that the dedication is a little long. So be relaxed when you're doing this dedication. They're great dedication. If you listen to the words and kind of visualize, it will cover everything that we have covered during the last 5 or 6 sessions. Okay? It will cover all of those things. Excuse me. Okay, to start with, okay, again, make your spine straight. So Shakyamuni Buddha is already here, since we invoked him earlier. But we'll just remember that the presence of the pure enlightenment, all of our teachers, all guides and protectors, angels, all are merging into the aspect of Shakyamuni Buddha. In our heart, we have that sincere request to always be guided and protected by his energy, and especially that we ourselves might quickly be transformed into enlightened ones ourselves, perfectly what is needed to help others. And wishing to be free of all that which prevents us from attaining enlightenment, and wishing to receive all the blessings of realizations of the path, making that request to Shakyamuni Buddha to please bless our minds. So he comes to the crown of our head as we recite the mantra. We visualize a purifying stream of white nectar and light showering down on us, removing all impurities, all negativities, and mental veils, all obstacles to generating the realizations of the path within our mind stream. Tayatha Om Mune Mune Maha Mune Soha. Sorry, my throat is going bad. Final purifying stream comes down, cleansing our body and mind. Excuse me. So as we recite this mantra again, golden light beams of nectar pour forth from Shakyamuni Buddha's body and mind, blessing our mind stream with all qualities and realizations of enlightenment. Shakyamuni Buddha then melts into the stream of golden light, enters the crown of our head, and descends to our hearts, becoming inseparably mixed with body and mind. Our body and mind becomes pervaded by golden light, and we are clarified in the aspect of Shakyamuni Buddha, a fully enlightened one. From the wish to benefit all beings, we recite the mantra again, sending out streams of golden light from our heart through every pore of our body, reaching out to all living beings in all different realms of existence, blessing their minds, freeing them from suffering, and bringing them to perfect happiness, transforming all environments into pure lands. Tayatha Om Mune Mune Mahamune Soha. All beings and their environment melt into this golden light, which absorbs into our hearts. Our body, mind are pervaded by golden light. We dissolve from above and below into place of our hearts, becoming smaller and smaller and smaller until we completely disappear. No I to be found anywhere. From this state, from a wish to benefit others, our mind takes form, a shaft of golden light. This grows in a size, taking the shape and form of our bodies until we arise as pure light beings, abiding in the world solely for the purpose of benefiting others. Yes, this is me. And then we dedicate all this positive energy from all the effort that we've made over this course, and we'll do the very extensive way that Lama Zopa Rinpoche has written to us. So we dedicate. As a result of all my merits of the 3 times, past, present, and future, and all the merits of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and sentient beings, may the altruistic wish to achieve enlightenment be generated in my mind, and in the mind of all sentient beings without even seconds delay. And may that altruistic wish that has already been generated be increased. Whatever suffering sentient beings experience, may it ripen on me. Whatever merit and resulting happiness I have accumulated, may it ripen on others. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and goodness. All-powerful Chenrezig Tenzin Gyatso, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, please remain until samsara ends. May the glorious Gurus' lives be long and stable. May all beings equaling the extent of space have happiness. May I and others without exception accumulate merit and purify negativities. And may all be blessed to quickly attain Buddhahood. Due to the merits of the 3 times created by me and by others, and by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, may we be able to meet perfectly qualified Mahayana virtuous friends in all of our future lives. From our side, may we always see them as enlightened. May we always perform only actions most pleasing to His holy mind and the virtuous friends. May we always be able to fulfill their holy wishes immediately. Because of these merits, may my actions never cause even the slightest harm to any sentient being. Instead, may they bring only the greatest of benefit. Whatever the suffering or happy life I experience, may it only be of the greatest benefits to others, causing them to achieve enlightenment as quickly as possible. Due to all the merits of the 3 times accumulated by me and by others, merely by seeing, hearing, remembering, and touching, or talking to me, may any being be freed that very second from all sufferings, diseases, spirit harms, negative karmas, and obscurations, and abide in the peerless happiness of full enlightenment forever. Because of all the merits of the 3 times created by me and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and other sentient beings, may there be no wars, famine, disease, quarreling, fighting, or unhappy minds. May there be great prosperity, and may everything needed to be easily obtained. May all human beings in the world be guided by spiritual leaders teaching only Dharma, and may everyone enjoy the happiness of Dharma. So until samsara ends, may the teaching that benefits not be moved away by the winds of the evil superstitions. May the whole world be always filled with people who have understood and found stable faith in true teachings. May I pass the time day and night thinking and examining by what means this teaching can spread in the minds of all sentient beings. So let's let's send out this positive energy to all those we know of all times who are especially in need. May they receive all this benefit of this effort. May their minds abide in peace. May they be free from fear, and may they have only happiness and causes of happiness in their minds. And may anyone who hears this teaching, thinks about this teaching, reads this teaching, or remembers this teaching, or comes out into contact in any way with these teachings in that moment, may they be freed from all sufferings. May they achieve their highest goals and quickly become exactly what is needed to benefit all. Thank you. So in the closing, I'd like to make my own comments. Excuse me. I'm going to first thank all of you for participating. My throat is going bad. And that I suggest that you set up an appointment with Geshe-la. If you have any questions, excuse me, pardon. So you can get his blessings. So you can, your practice can be blessed. Also meet with Danasis. If you haven't taken refuge, if you collectively request, she can arrange for Geshe-la to give you refuge. Okay, that's very important. Try to take a precept for a half a day or so. Especially when Geshe-la gives on a holy day, try it. It may benefit you a lot. I would also say try and take a retreat time. Go to a retreat or two. Sometimes they offer it at Nolan's Farms. Okay? And I want you to review this prayer book. Find and kind of make your own map. This is what I will do. This is what I will do daily. This is what I will do on weekends. Something like make a little map. See how it helps your mind. And my own request that you make Lamrim the way of your life. Lama Tsongkhapa has given us such beautiful commentary. Pabanka Rinpoche, Lama Tisha, Geshe-la does such beautiful training. Lama Zopa Rinpoche provides wonderful training. Just make that part of your life. That's my request. Take some notes, learn more about it, find out the questions that you have, ask Geshe-la. And I just hope that this class has given you some idea of why daily practice is so important, right? And that it's bringing that gap of Dharma and mind closer and closer together. It becomes part of your life, and that you all become enlightened. And so I want to wish you good luck, and Tayata Mune Mune Mahamune Soa. Thank you. That's it. If you have any questions or anything like that, let me know. Sorry.